Smoke, what do you got?
Shit. I thought we were going to skip me like last week.
Did we skip you last week?
Not on this one. It was on the Friday.
Do you not remember how shitty he got at the end?
Oh, I wasn't shitty. It was fine.
Oh, it was all fun.
It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it.
Dang it, guys. I had a good one earlier, and I said it to myself 3 times, but I didn't write it down. So you're just going to give me a minute. So we'll just go to what my wonder was going to be on Fridays that we skipped me on.
We don't have wonders on Friday. We have conversation on Friday.
Yeah, my conversation topic.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this is a little crazy. Do you ever think about how, like, everything that we know of is made of the same, like, atoms as everything else? So, like, a brick and fleece are just the same atoms stacked up different.
I would agree with that, yeah.
Isn't that wild? Like, it makes me think if I thought really hard, I should be able to push my finger through like a brick. And then if I think about that really, really hard, I start panicking that I'm going to fall through the floor. You ever have that?
No, Dave, can't say I've ever done acid.
Are you 100% serious right now?
Atoms are all the same thing.
I understand.
Like, all that's making the difference is the way they're stacked together. But it's all the same.
Zeros and ones. It's the zeros and ones. So our bodies are made up of protons, electrons, and neutrons.
How much of that is perception and not actual physical differences? Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a bunch of weird.
Go ahead and just turn my mic off.
Fans would rejoice. I don't know. Dave, I get your thought exercise there because I understand what you're saying. Taking it to that next level is probably where I lose you a little bit. But I would agree that, fundamentally we're made up of protons, electrons, and neutrons.
Yeah, just
and how they're stacked would be the output. But I guess the thing of it is technically then if you figured that out, could you not time travel and travel via laser
bringing
beam?
me to my next point. So the core of the Earth
played right to that.
Is molten.
Magma.
Now,
molten hot magma.
Okay, now molten means liquid, and that means it's super hot down there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to jump in the ocean right now and swim down towards the middle, it gets colder the deeper you get.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, how far away from the center are we? Because it must be pretty far if it's still cold there. But then a fella's got to ask, where's the energy come from that's been keeping that shit burning forever? Because they say you can't create or destroy energy. So
I thought you could destroy energy. That's what black holes do.
No, they consume energy.
Consume energy.
That's what we don't know about black holes. What's on the other side? Because if you can't create or destroy energy, it's got to go somewhere.
There's probably some jokes in there, but we're going to leave those lie too. But so now is the theory then that if you could replicate what the magma is, that you could create a renewable energy source?
Well, so they say that it's leftover energy from the Big Bang, and that's just the center of the thing there, and it's just still burning from however, I guess, depending on your religion or your beliefs, some amount of time ago. Either way, it's a long-ass time.
Yeah, it wasn't last week, that's for sure.
For sure. And that energy's still going. So, but then you get wondering about that. Like, okay, so how does that energy exist in such a mass amount to keep everything molten, but we don't explode?
But wouldn't that be the insulation of rock and earth matter that keeps it from doing that? Or that it's not as big of a...
So that makes me think that the rock, like a rock...
Not like Dwayne the Rock Johnson?
Yeah, not that
rock. Or I-Rock?
Yeah, not the thing...
E-Rock?
Yeah.
Could you imagine having one of those old Camaro I-Rock Z's? Like
I've always wanted a G-body with T-tops, man.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Gosh.
So according to the internet, the bottom of the ocean, right? So like the small slot-shaped valley in its floor of the Mariana Trench, known as Challenger Deep.
I just got a really dirty image at the bottom of the ocean, and I want to see it now.
It's a trench, the oyster ditch down there. It is roughly 36,037 feet deep.
So
Which-
7.5 miles.
So this says 6.825
Okay.
at the southern end, and it said that it is 2 kilometers farther from sea level than the peak of Mount Everest, and the water temperature around there is around 34 to 39 degrees Fahrenheit at the bottom of Challenger Deep.
34 to 39. So that's not that cold then.
Because it's close to the center of the earth.
Well, it'd be 2 degrees above freezing.
Like cold, but not like
Yeah.
we're making ice.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, we're not going to make ice at the bottom of the ocean, right?
But if you need ice,
Or else it would be floating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be frozen.
but if you need some ice, call our friends at Celebration Ice.
Holy shit.
We done figured it out.
But no,
So that's why the oceans are rising. It's freezing from the bottom because the Earth's core is cooling.
Well,
and
it's
then
not.
the ice is coming up, pushing the water out farther.
So do you think we're getting ready to go into an ice age?
Global warming is from the inside out, not the outside in.
Where do you get that theory? Al Gore would disagree.
Well, Al Gore's internet just made me think that maybe that's what's going on here.
Because there's some that will tell
Wild.
you that
So as the Earth's core loses energy, so when things cool off, they contract. So
Agreed.
that's how we get the rock because we're losing the energy, and so all those molecules like into stone. Okay, and when that happens, the distance from the molten stuff to the water gets farther because the core's got to be shrinking because it's contracting when it cools. So now we're super concentrating what's left, so it's getting hotter, but now we've got a thicker barrier between it and the water, and I bet you in like 4 lifetimes it'll be too cold down there, and I bet they'll be real shallow. And we just start freezing from the bottom up. The ice age always says from the space, but I bet it's from the middle.
do you know what the hottest part of the core actually is called?
The hottest part of the core is not the center. The center's solid, and then the next ring is what's molten, and that'd be the hottest part. I would
Like it's
say.
called the Bullen discontinuity, which the temperature can reach up to 6,000 degrees Celsius or 10,800 degrees Fahrenheit, which is equally as hot as the surface of the
sun.
sun.
But so you're telling me there's a sun in the middle of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, there's got to be UV radiation down there. So there might be a whole other ecosystem underneath the earth, underneath the surface, that's getting UV light from the inside out. Like we're getting UV
Yeah,
light
but
from the
isn't that
outside in.
because couldn't this be a theory?
Lizard people?
Couldn't this be
Yes.
a theory that actually the sun at one time wasn't Earth, but it
It
expanded
shed its
from
shell and all the
Yes.
people that are on there. My theory is that Venus is the next habitable planet. We've talked about that, but freaking Putin, you Putin, thinks he can take it and claim it. I've got as much claim on it as Putin does.
Putin can't do it.
He claimed it for Russia.
But if Vlad wanted to give us a shout out where we could get over 1,000 YouTube subscribers, I would take it.
There's that.
Yeah.
I bet I could drink Vlad under the table.
Well, yeah, because according to every
And I could
back page
outride him
news,
on horses too. I might not look as good doing it.
I bet you'd have a hard time wrestling the Russian grizzly bear that he wrestles.
No way.
What's your stance on ice baths? Because he's a big ice bath guy.
I'm not as scared of an ice bath. I'd take an ice bath.
Okay.
There is a guy down the road that lives in a real shithole that has an ice bath. And,
Swims in the winter.
yeah, and it was like what the hell?
42?
43 or 42 degree water, and you didn't even want to like stick your hand in it. Like it was freaking cold.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't
Real
doubt it.
Anyway.
So how long you been sitting on this thought? How long you been chewing on this wonder? What prompted you to have this wonder?
So the other day I started Googling around about cold
Well, here's the other question
fusion
before
and-
we get into that, though. So, wouldn't that explain why some of the Earth has magnetic rays or magnetic fields would be from
the
the
energy.
gamma rays that or whatever from the core?
Yeah, because that's the same thing that the sun's sending energy this way.
Yeah.
So I was looking into cold fusion on my break at work. I had about 10 minutes, so I was Googling cold fusion and then pulled up the periodic table and started trying to figure out what the magic number is there because everything's got atomic weights, but everything is the same mass. And we've got the periodic table built from lowest to highest. And then like the most common reaction for like nuclear stuff is like hydrogen, and the next one that's like in line with the next lowest atomic rate And so then you think, oh, so for nuclear fission to work,
We're
you
losing
got to
them.
have low atomic numbers. Hold on here, I'm getting to something. But then I got thinking, maybe it's not that they're low atomic numbers. Maybe it's that they're opposites, like a 1 and a 2. So maybe like a 25 and a 50 would be the same as a 1 and a 2.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
But then that got me into atoms. And then if everything's the same stuff, why can't I put my finger through a brick wall? And then I was sitting there at work trying to,
Put your finger through your desk.
and then I got like, what if I actually do this? And then my desk is stuck to my finger.
Trying to reel him back.
Yeah, it still wasn't as bad as your review of the jungle, but haven't looked at a periodic table in a long time.
They're really interactive on the internet now. And I feel like that might
Oh,
have made me
shit.
pay attention better in class.
Yeah. Well, I think education.
But that's how I got there is
yeah. Maybe a couple
and they found
extra-
an ocean. My sister told me they found an ocean underneath the surface of the earth that's bigger than all 7 of our oceans put together. And that's what led me down the rabbit hole talking to somebody else at work about the molten core and then UV and then like a whole subspecies of people that are like Middle Earth.
Where'd your sister hear this at?
No idea. So me and my sister have been going back and forth on a whole lot of harebrained ideas lately.
Okay.
Lizard people, and I feel like I'm getting judged here.
No, I'm intrigued.
You
by
and
it.
your sister are talking about lizard people?
Well, lizard people, all sorts of different type of things, and consciousness, and I don't know, man. Like
That's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
good talk.
yeah.
Wild.